Blah, 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 blah.
Okay, so Angie, I know you mentioned the noodles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what made you want to like get all that started? How did it get started?
Oh my gosh, that story is so funny. So that's when like the VK sweater was like super big.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I know that.
I know that. You probably bought one and wore it secretly in his home.
I don't think I've ever like told this story out loud before, so it's great.
Mm-hmm.
But I was doing the VK photo shoot, and then I had it booked with another photographer originally, and then that photographer messaged me and was like, "Sorry, I can't make it." And I was like, "They canceled," but I was ready to go. I was all dressed up already, and then I messaged Cinefan and was like, "Somebody please help me! Like I'm already at the shoot spot and blah blah blah." And that's when Marvin Square Noodles was like, "I got you, I got you." I've never met him before. Like it just. I was like, okay, like I was desperate, right? And then we shot it, and like literally when we posted it the next day, it was like my first viral post. Yeah, I was just like, whoa, like this is crazy, oh my god, this guy's like so good, whatever. And there were people asking like, where can we get this? Where can we buy this? And we were like, well, we don't know. So we put up a store and we were like just these 3 pictures, you know, and then like it like flew, and then we just continued doing that. It was kind of like an accident, right? And then we came up with this idea. I was like, dude, what if we like, you know, started a group, because I want to do more group cosplay. And that was when he met Tenderbro Embrace, Standesu, and Misatoki at WonderCon. And he was like, yeah, let's like get these girls, right? They were doing Street Fighter. And he's like, I know these girls, let's get them together. And then I met them and we like loved each other. We like all clicked, right?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and then so we were like, oh, let's put it together. Like we shoot lewds. His name's Square Noodles. We'll call it Square Noodles.
Yeah, it like works. How it works together.
Yeah, and then we've just been like doing that ever since. Like I just feel like none of us were like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah.
I see.
So.
What about outside criticism? I know doing this, there's been a lot of controversy, I feel like, especially with these lewd cosplays and whatnot. What about yourself? Like, have you received these criticisms? Like, how do you feel about them?
Yeah, and that's such a huge question, because especially with Patreon kind of taking that direction. There has been more so with people like close to my life, but that's when it becomes a little bit more personal. But I think in terms of meeting people at conventions, it's had nothing but a positive impact. I think I've met more people like doing what I do and like have more of an inspiration with those people. That's the only way that they were able to like see it, because they were a fan of like whatever, Morgan, for example, who's like a sexy character. And like if I had not done that, I never would have met them, you know? So I think it's a really positive thing. There is like that controversy there, but I think that if it's done the classy way, then it's like, it's okay.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with that.
I'm such a believer in empowerment too.
But as long as you rock it and you have that confidence, like you said, like if you love it, then do it.
Yeah, I feel good when I do it.
Yeah.
That's like one thing that people think like, oh, she's like, you know, doing it for money or whatever, but I just feel good doing it.
Yeah.
So I think there was this topic with like a lot of underage girls looking up, you know, to these cosplayers and using that as like, oh, these are my inspiration. I want to do sexy cosplays and stuff like that. Like, do you have comment or like advice or like something as an approach, you know? Because I feel like there's also a lot of criticism there, and maybe there needs to be more of a direction for that. Would you have any thoughts about that? Or things you could say about that?
I do, and you know, there is such a balance, I think, between like cosplay and doing boudoir. Like if you do just boudoir, that's when I feel like your creativity gets a little diluted. That's when like your direction gets a little bit lost. So I feel like a person like Daniela Boo does it really well, where she'll do armor and then immediately do boudoir after. So she has both sides going for her. You know, so when you're saying like a little girl is like looking up to this person, well, I want to be that person where it's like, maybe she found me for that, but I want her to be inspired by this armor piece now. It's like...
So it's more well-rounded.
Well-roundedness.
It's not just like, oh, just sexy cosplays.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
so we can show those
craft.
Yeah, you can show those people that we can do both, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not just like this object of like...
I see.
Yeah,
that's good. So as like a brand and a business, like where do you imagine taking yourself, you know, building your professional cosplay? Like where do you see yourself in the next couple of years, or even this industry, because it's so new?
Oh, that's like, I love that question, because I feel like I've always wanted this. Like I've always wanted to be like Yaya Han or Jessica Nigri. Like ever since I started, I looked up to those people. Honestly, I just wanted to travel the world. That was like all I wanted to do.
Yeah, a lot of goals for people.
Yeah, like travel at a con like outside of state, outside of country.
Be like a guest outside. You're like, oh, I get to be a guest in Asia or something like that.
That's how you know you've made it.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was just like my goal, and like I would, you know, love to take my friends with me, so I'd be able to take everyone there. So I think that's where I see myself happening. Like if not, kind of traveling more.
Kind of like international.
Because the first international cosplayer level was Louis Aquino. I don't know if you remember.
I remember seeing his How to Train a Dragon.
Oh, that was viral.
Yes.
Who is this? You know, like.
I know, everyone's like
crazy
thirsting for Hiccup. Yeah.
Who is he? I must know.
I actually do have a question for both of y'all. So like talking about Patreon and stuff like that, you know, Patreon is open for a lot of people to do a lot of different things. Would you ever, you know, create a Patreon for your art? Would you ever create Patreon for your cosplay if you want to go to that next level?
I'll make one for Kenson. It's gonna be like VK sweaters.
VK sweaters.
Oh, no. Let's go. VK sweaters. It's gonna be like, yes.
We say S.K.Y.
Only if you
yeah. We gotta show him. There you go. Yeah. More booty. See Kenson making one for his pixel art, you know, or like it's something that's really artsy.
Pixel art?
I do like pixel art.
He does a lot. His art's amazing. Like it really is. He spends a lot of time and effort on it, so it's really cool.
I always liked the idea of making games, but I never got to that point, so I make the art in place of it. Yeah.
You did animation too, like your Kaneki and then the.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to develop like a photo motion look, but I haven't had time to really like work on it yet.
That's awesome because I'm obsessed with perler beads. Like if you've ever like those little plastic things that you melt together. That's like my life.
Would you ever make like a Patreon for it?
Maybe. I have some ideas in mind, but I do more. I'm trying to do more video-based stuff. So once I get that figured out, I'll probably. There's so many platforms out. There's like Patreon. There's like what was like something
Coffee.
It's not Ko-Fi?
Oh, Ko-Fi?
I thought it was Ko-Fi.
I thought it was coffee because once you donate, it's for them to have a coffee, so it's like $3.
Is it like a play on words?
Coffee,
It's coffee.
I don't know how you pronounce it.
It's spelled
I always call it Ko-Fi.
Ko-Fi, oh my. Alright, here we go, Angie with the Ko-Fi.
What about you?
I actually wouldn't, because I always considered cosplay as like a hobby, because I actually have a full-time job and I have a career path that I want to take, and that's just something I've decided on. Cosplay, like I've always wanted to keep it more of as a side hobby. In my opinion, the market's like really saturated right now, and just trying to get to that level where I have that stable source of income is really, really difficult. Yeah, and I think if I treated it as a full-time job, it would just kind of take the fun out of it, because it is a lot of work. Some people do have the passion, and not saying I'm not passionate about it, but it really, you have to watch a lot of animes, you have to play a lot of games, you have to do a lot of research on these characters, you have to spend time buying fabric, you know, even if you make props, it's just a lot of time, money, and effort and investment.
It does like take a toll on you. I was telling Randy before the show that like in December we made 9 costumes for Patreon.
It's
and then in January I like took a break. I was like exhausted.
It's crazy.
I made just this one for the importance of like taking a break. Like I think Nigri just recently posted like she's not going to Katsu.
It's just I can't imagine like for even bigger cosplayers like Jessica Nigri, like it's crazy how much they do. You know?
And you have all that pressure.
Especially when the more famous you are, the more pressure you have
criticism and all that stuff. So you did very well. You did very, very well.
Oh, that makes me so happy. Like, and you know, it's a balance. Like, there are cosplays that like, I don't shoot at all. I make it just for me. Like, just because I want to keep it fun. You know, like, no one's gonna know what it is. No one's gonna get the reference, but it's like, it's for me.
All right, Angela. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for the talk and sharing all of your opinions and thoughts with us. Yeah, of course. All right, we have one more game prepared for her, so let's go! Hurry up, Sean! Welcome to our Anime Impulse Team Sky infomercial! And we have some lovely products for you today!
Yeah, Yusha, I brought you something that I think you're really gonna like.
Okay. Alright, this is the first item we